Hello, everyone. So, in today's episode, I'd like to tell you, I would like to continue where I left off in the last episode. And in the last episode, I told you about the nature, the undisputable nature of reality around us, what it's made out of, and what it means. And in the end, I told you that once we understand the different layers in the reality, that we can take certain principles that apply across the reality and apply them in everyday life. So, and you can always think of it as putting a special type of glasses that help you to that augment the reality so that you can get more out of it. And if you really, without bias, look around you, you will notice on the atomic level, on the molecular level, cellular level, on all these levels, that cooperation, joining together, joining forces, that's the principle that you can find across the whole universe. And when you look further, you realize, and that's why I have the book Sapiens right here behind me, which I highly recommend. And in this book, you learn that the reason humans won over apes and dominated this planet was, and I always thought it was because we were more intelligent than the chimpanzees. But when chimpanzees are, let's say, at the number 50, and they compete against 50 humans, the chimpanzees, they always win. The chimpanzee always win. And this all goes all the way up to the number 150 or around 150. The apes cannot cooperate anymore because apes can only cooperate with the other apes that they know. And the limit for mammals is around, let's say, 150, like a small tribe. But humans, they can cooperate with in extremely high numbers. Now we can see it. There's 8 billion people on this one planet, and somehow we can all get along and cooperate. So cooperation is the main reason why we won over apes. And when you realize that cooperation is the universal force and universal principle, and through those glasses you look at the reality, then you feel so, at least that's how I feel now when I look at it through these glasses, how absurd it is what's happening in Ukraine and the conflict with Russia, because based on this universal principle that I described, and it's undisputable, that's how it is. And if you don't see it, I'll explain later what that means. But that means that we all humans are the same, regardless where your mother geographically gave you birth on this planet. So it's so weird that people that that even in today, I'm even surprised that racism exists. Like, I can't believe that the color of the skin makes a difference. Now, what's interesting when we talk about racism, that in fact 99% of the human population, we are all racist. And we are just racist by the fact that we even know, because we notice the color of the skin. When I talk about this, I always give it the example that most people don't know. If I ask you how many people at your office or in your family, what family you would know, but at your office, how many people have green eyes? How many have blue eyes? How many have brown eyes? How many have black eyes? So most people would not know. In fact, they would not know at all, and they would try to guess by the color of the hair, because we do not notice at all the color of the eyes, and that's how we should be actually viewing people with the skin, with how we should view the skin color difference. That we don't, like, when we come in contact, in visual contact with a different colored skin, we notice it, but immediately we forget it because it's a complete useless information for us. Anyway, knowing that cooperation is the driving force in, or one of the driving forces in this universe, knowing that we are all made out of the same stuff, then I don't understand why there are conflicts. I don't understand. And then when I think about it, yeah, because people are so attached to the geographical place on this planet they were raised, where they were raised, and these people who, to me, it's like, here's one brother, here's one, it's like a family war. Here's the brother who grew up in Russia, and here's the brother who grew up in the US, and here's the brother who grew up in Ukraine. And instead of them sharing forces and somehow helping each other, because they are all codependent, because we are on the same one planet, then it's extremely sad when you see it. Because if they all would start cooperating, they would all achieve huge things. Just as you can see with the James Webb Telescope. But when you see that when humans join forces, we can accomplish great things. When I watched how the telescope was unfolding in space, I I was shocked how technologically advanced we humans are. Because when I look through these glasses here in the Czech Republic, I'm shocked that we cannot even build 10 kilometers of highway without it being damaged within like 6 months and needing of repairs. So, and this information is is the entry point information. And entry point information, that means that it's valid throughout the whole history. Today, the force of working together, 1+1 doesn't equal 2, but 1+1 equals 3, is valid today. It was valid yesterday. It was valid for 1,000. It was valid from the beginning of life happening on this planet, because that life was happening by more molecules, more cells joining together. So right now, my body is a cooperation of trillions of cells who together have an easier life in this reality than if they are all separate. So imagine how the history of humans would change if someone somehow, let's say 100,000 years ago, gave people uh, let's call it knowing to that humans 100,000 years ago, that we are all the same family, regardless the color of the skin and everything. Then it would be so almost impossible for a war to happen. Now, Why is it the way it is? Well, because the way it is is 1 to 1 in 1 to 1 ratio with the capacity of the population on this planet. Because it's not, it's nice example is private ownership. People say, I would say, this is my mug, this is my apartment, this is my house, this is my, I don't know, my street. But in the end, you realize that ownership doesn't exist. Ownership is an agreement of a large number of people, just like in the book *Sapiens*. And this group of people, they agreed, verbally or non-verbally, that they will all live pretending that if someone owns something, meaning that in a book that's publicly available, we will write down that this mug belongs to George, which means that with this thing in this reality, I am the one who decides what is going to happen to it. So then we have private ownership. And in fact, in the Czech Republic, we have the sad experience from 1948. Up till 1948, there was only private ownership and then government ownership. But then in 1948, the Communist Party that took over decided there's no private ownership. And from one day to the next, you didn't own anything. Now, is ownership bad? No. Ownership is a great virtual tool that plays well with the biological nature of Homo sapiens. Because the more we feel that something is ours, the more it plays to our primal feelings that we feel like, we are more safe the more things we have. So it's a driving factor, and it helps the civilization to work and stay together. But one day, and that day will one day come, that if we are going to survive, one day there will be only one language on this planet. One day there will be no. We will not view anyone by the color of their skin, because the mix will be so great and the shades, there will be so many, that it will just become obsolete. And in fact, people in the future will feel how they will think it's almost impossible that racism ever happened. In the future, as I said, one language. So from that, it will be much harder, or it will be much harder to keep different views in the world. For sure, the more everything is connected, there will be more pressure on various local governments to make it, because it will not be possible for the dictatorships or different regimes to really keep down the information. So all of this will lead that basically there will be one big country called Earth, with all the humans being mixed up. But that world will work much better, because they will not have any disputes over land and stuff. That's one thing uh, that was very surprising, that once we entered European Union as a Czech Republic, all of a sudden I felt like we were all friends. Like it brought us all together, and all of a sudden I felt like it's completely useless to have borders. And it's just obvious that if you live like this, all of us together, that eventually it will just merge into one country. But that's a sound of the future. But as I said in the title of this stream, it's viewing the reality through these glasses. So really, try to put them on, and everywhere, in every problem, in anything that you look, always try to apply the principle that it's always better to cooperate, because 1 plus 1 is always 3. And I think in the next episode I will tell you, because when you say when I say 1 plus 1 equals 3, then you're like, yeah, okay, that's like synergy. Yeah, I can see in the nature that there's cooperation everywhere. But I experienced in my life that I met a friend, and the friend said, let's do something together. And I said, great, 1 plus 1 is 3. But then 1 plus 1 with this friend wasn't 3. But I found out that this friend uh, was a liar, and the cooperation didn't work out. So it wasn't 1 plus 1 equals 3, but it was 1 minus 6 equals minus 5. And this is what I got into. So one of the big things is that 1 plus 1 equals 3 only when both sides sort of show their cards, so they can really see if they can cooperate. If one pretends that they have a skill, then when they start cooperating, they find out that this person didn't have the skill that they were pretending to have. And that's why the cooperation, it wasn't 1 plus 1, but it was all of a sudden 1 plus uh, pretended 1. So in fact, it was 1 plus, for example, minus 0.8 plus pretended 1. And in the next episode, I will tell you about a very strange analogy from evolution that you can apply during job interviews or HR work. So see you soon. Bye bye.